in my mortgage career, and the market's changed a little bit. We used to do property investment seminars, and we would do them on a regular basis, and we'd have to hire a venue, and we'd do it with our accountant, and we'd do it with a buyer's agent, and we'd have special guest speakers, and it was a really great way for us to build loyalty, create leads, and educate our clients at the same time. So today I want to talk about webinars, and webinars it's sort of an older style. People don't like going to a webinar. You may call it a workshop or a masterclass, or come up with some funky name for it. But today we're going to go and we're going to call it a webinar. So if we're looking at creating leads through webinars, and we look at, well, why webinars, right? Webinars, there's a number of reasons if we look at webinars. One, the obvious one, is to generate new leads and to generate new clients, to get repeat and referral business, because it's a great way to position yourself as a market authority. In the Challenger Sale is a book that I refer to in my program quite a bit, but they talk about the best salespeople challenge and educate their clients. Gone are the days where we can just show up and look to just understand what the client's needs are and then go from there. And we all know the best way to pay your mortgage off is not to work for 30 years and pay the loan off. There's other ways that we can look at in terms of, really to be able to create that strategy in terms of creating wealth and looking at other options. So, first home buyers may be one area that you focus on. It may be property investment. It may be self-managed super funds. We've done ones on granny flats before, and the benefits of adding those to your portfolio. We've done, things on tax and planning, money management. There's so many areas that you can add value from a webinar. So it's a really great way to have a look at it, right? So one is around generating new leads and clients for you. So quite often we have the same conversation with our clients day in, day out. And this is a way of educating people, not one-to-one, but one-to-many. So we go to the market, and rather than spending that hour just speaking with one person, we can speak to 30 or 50 at a time. And it's the same amount of time, it's the same sort of learning and education, but we can then have it where we're teaching everyone at the same time. And we can also use the recordings afterwards. If someone's got that particular question, we can say, hey, have a watch of this, and then come back to me, let me know what you thought, and you'll be really well prepared for when we sit down and focus on yours. So it is a great way to use your time the most effectively that you possibly can. So one-to-many. So as I mentioned, it's around educating, it's around giving your clients the tools to be able to make the decisions for them. Confidence comes from competence. If you can instill that confidence in your clients, they're going to have the confidence to learn from others, see what's successful through your education, through the stories you're providing, through the material that you're providing in your webinars, to be able to get them to act with certainty and take confidence in what they're doing. So second point's around that. The third point is around, really deepening the relationships, because your clients, and a lot of brokers focus on the transaction. They're not focused on the relationship after settlement. This is a way for you to create that relationship after settlement, which is going to position you as the market authority, because you're the one that are introducing these new ideas and new concepts to them. They're going to trust that you're the person to get them there. This is really, really important, to deepen those relationships, and as I mentioned, to become that market authority. There's a great book, if you haven't read it, it's called Influence, The Psychology of Persuasion. One of the sections in here talks about authority, and the importance of you positioning yourself as that authority person in their market, that you are then going to become the go-to. It's proven in psychology, similar to the law of reciprocity. It's something, so you've got to look at ways, well, how can you position yourself within your business as that authority figure? So, it's same as when you go to a presentation, you see someone speak, you think, oh, they must know what they're talking about because they're up on stage presenting, right? No, they've just sort of put their hand up, they've got the confidence to go out and talk, right? So how can you create that confidence and become that market authority within your business? So it's simple and it's a low cost strategy. So to do it, again, what do you need to actually, what's the cost to run a workshop or a webinar these days? So we need a Zoom account, we need an email list, and potentially social media. So it's a very low cost strategy. Anyone can do it. It's about putting the legwork in place to actually get it set up, and then you can do it. So great strategy. It's low cost. Anyone can actually do it. The time that you spend in creating it, then you can rinse and repeat, and you can do the same thing on a monthly basis once you've taken the time to develop your first one. So then in terms of, as we said, we can rinse and repeat, we can replicate over and over, and it's just as similar to like the systems within your business. It's something that we can replicate over and over. So let's create one, right? Let's help you go through and look at the areas that you need to focus on to actually create one. So if we have a look at the model, right? So there's 3 areas in the model that we really want to focus on. And the first one we want to focus on is how you prepare your workshop or webinar, right? So we've got to say, well, what's the why, right? What's the reason that somebody would want to attend? Everyone's tuned in to the what's in it for me, WIIFM. And so we've got to focus when we're looking at, well, why should somebody want to attend? And in my financial freedom framework that I talk about within the program, what we talk about is creating financial freedom, creating passive income. So who would like passive income in retirement? Who would like choices, and who would like peace of mind, right? And so what does that mean, from a tangible point of view and intangible? Those things that we spoke about are intangible. What may be a tangible thing? It might be creating a $2 million net asset position. It might be $100,000 in sort of passive income. So we've got to focus on, well, what are the whys? What's the target market, and what are their whys? So then we've got to look at, well, who are we going to target and how are we going to target? Is it just going to be our database? Are we going to combine with other referral partners? Like a property manager or a real estate agent has, lots of property investors that they market to every month, sending out their rental statements. And they're going to be perfect for that particular target if we were targeting property investors. What is the content? What is the stuff that we're going to talk about? What are the messages? We've got to create the content, right? So this all comes down to our preparation. So, and preparation is really, really important, right? So the other things that we need to prepare, we need to prepare the assets that we're going to promote, right? So are we going to create a simple landing page? Are we going to just use some Facebook posts and some images and some text? Are we going to create some emails? What are we going to do in terms of to promote it? What are the assets that we're going to create? Then we need to look at, well, who are we going to actually market it to? Are we going to market to our existing clients? Are we going to market to our prospects lists? Are we going to look to invite all of our connections on LinkedIn or Facebook? Are we going to combine with other referral partners and leverage off their lists as well? So then once we've designed that, once we've got a plan, so we've prepared our plan, we've got our marketing messages in place, then we need someone to execute and manage the promotion, right? Because it's really important. The more that we can promote this, the more leads that we are going to generate. And I want to change your mindset here in terms of thinking on what is a lead. A lot of people think, well, I only had a 30% show up rate, on my particular workshop or webinar. And so if they had 100 people register, they only had 30 show up, they only see that as 30 leads. Now you've got to flip the switch on that, and the workshop itself doesn't really matter. If you've had 100 people that have put up their name, or through your marketing you've got 100 people that have registered, that's 100 leads, right? You know yourself, for how many times have you registered for a free workshop and not shown up? And if you're like me, you probably do it on a regular basis, but at the same time, you're probably interested in doing business with that particular company, or you wouldn't have taken the effort to actually sign up in the first place. So think about your strategy when you look at this. What's your way of nurturing these clients? Because the nurture strategy and offering them the opportunity, for example, to book an appointment in even prior to the workshop is going to be really important to you around actually generating leads. So I want you to change your mindset in terms of that. Then when the last part of looking at it is how you actually present, right? Because this is come game time, and it's really important when we have a look at that. What's your strategy in the webinar to get people to say book an appointment, take the next steps with you, and at what phases and how many times are you going to ask that question? Who's going to co-pilot the Zoom session with you, so they can add resources, monitor the chat for you, add people in to the seminar if they're joining late. So think about that. Who's going to actually co-pilot the workshop with you? Because that's really important to think about. And as I said, where the benefits are going to come is following up both the people who did attend and both the people who didn't attend, and having that sort of nurture sequence done. And so, this is going to be really, really important for you guys in terms of to do that. I've got if you just type webinar below, I've got a tool that'll help you do all of these things. It'll help you focus on who you're going to target and how you're going to prepare. Focus on the why, the targeting, what the content's going to be about. Focus on the things that you're going to create, what assets you're going to create, who you're going to market it to, and how you're actually going to execute it. So if you would like that, just comment below the video, just comment webinar below, and I'll ensure that we get you this, because this is really going to help you, as I say, create so much value in your marketplace, position yourself as that level of authority, educate your clients, really create those raving fans and loyalty, which is going to allow you to do repeat business and referral business. The fact that you're educating themselves, they're going to then have the confidence to do things like purchase an additional property, look to upgrade their home, look at smarter ways of reducing their debt, or if you're doing say something around buying their first home, you're going to help them get into their first home sooner. So I hope you've got a lot of value out of this. So I'm Ross from the $1 Billion Broker. My aim is to really create that business that is a profitable business that you're proud of, and I look forward to chatting to you next time.